Hello friends, welcome to Page 2 in Comics and Manga, Pick of the Week, episode number 20. We've made it 20 episodes, we'll go to 25 and see what happens. Thanks to all of you who listen, the few of you who do listen, I really appreciate it. So this week we had a few comics on our list, I think we had five total. We'll talk about them. So for those of you who are new to the podcast, my name is Steve and I'm getting into the world of comics after a long hiatus. It's not so much of a hiatus now that I've been recording this podcast, it's been a few months. But I'm trying to get back into it and trying to find books that appeal to me. And I think if you keep up with comics, then you kind of know what's happening in the events and the characters and where they are and the spin-offs and things like that. I have no idea. So I'm getting back into it, trying to find books that appeal to me. So each week I go to my local comic book shop and I pick up a few books that I think will appeal to me. And then I come here and talk about them and explain why I won't be reading them or reading the next issue. So this week, we had a pretty decent week, I would say. So the first book on the list is The Ministry of Compliance. This is by John Ridley and Stefano Raphael. This is issue number 1, and I believe it's by IDW. Let me double check. Yes, IDW. And so this book is like a spy espionage kind of story, but it's also mixed into like an alien invasion story. And the aliens are already here. They're getting ready to take over. And this group is maintaining compliance within the ranks of this alien invasion, making sure that things go according to plan. And it took some twists and turns that I wasn't expecting, which I really liked. And the characters and everything is pretty well established. It's a big first issue. It's almost double, I think, the size of a normal issue. And I had a good time with it. I think there's some good action scenes in it. The action doesn't go for too long, and I really like that. The action is quick, and it's brutal, and it's violent, and then it's over. It doesn't go on for a long time. So I really appreciate that. When action scenes go on for too long, I just kind of get lost in it. So I did appreciate that the action scenes are quick, and they come and they're fun and they're over. They don't overstay their welcome, which is, like I said, something I really enjoy. The artwork is very clean and crisp, and everything about it was pretty good. I mean, I think the setup for it, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of threads that are kind of being established that we'll follow along. And yeah, I mean, for as big of an issue as it was, I think it established enough. I think it needed a big issue. There's a lot going on here. And I think if it was half the size, which would be a normal issue, I think it would be tough to kind of hook the reader. There's just so many things going on. So I think the big first issue really helped establish everything and kind of get everything on the table and kind of let us know what we're in for and what's to come. And the issue ends with a very intriguing story that's being developed too. So there's a lot of things going on, like I said, and yeah, overall pretty good. I'll be continuing this one. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think, a lot of books and entertainment, not only books, just entertainment in general, a lot of entertainment tries to send a message or social commentary, and that's fine sometimes. I don't mind that sometimes. So we've talked about this on the podcast before, but when it's subtle is when it really hits home for me. When it's very overt and that's the whole point of the book, then it kind of gets lost. And it seems like that message is more important than the story. That's when I just lose interest in it. And this one, I don't see a whole lot of social commentary. I think there's a little bit. I think you could pull out a few things if you're really looking for it. But if it is, I didn't really catch a whole lot. And I really like that. I think we need a break. There's something to be said about escapism and to get lost in a book and not have to think about real life for a while. Get lost in a book and you don't think about the news or the headlines or what's going on down the street. It's a break. We all need a break sometimes. It's okay. Not everything has to have a message or social commentary. It's okay just to have fun and just to have a good story and not have to think about life for a while. I think it's okay, at least for me. So I really appreciated that. I think, like I said, there are some things you can pull out of here that could be social commentary, but if it is, it's being done very subtly. And again, that's what I like. So yeah, thumbs up for the Ministry of Compliance #1. A good setup and lots of interesting thread ideas being established. So yeah, good stuff. Check it out if you haven't already. I think this would be a fun, especially if you like spy thrillers, science fiction. Yeah, lots of good stuff. The second book I read this week was A Haunted Girl. This is by Ethan Snacks, Naomi Snacks, and Maru Lorenzana. Hope I didn't mispronounce anyone's names. I picked up this is issue 2. I picked up issue 1, and I think I had given up on it. I think I had said it was fine, but it wasn't for me. But I saw issue 2, and I thought, okay, I'll try it out. It's here. So I was on the fence, but when I saw the book on the shelf, I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. What this book does really well is it captures the feelings of depression and how you can kind of get lost because you can be really supported by one person and you can get pushed off to someone else who you expect to help you the same way the first person did. And the second person just doesn't care about you at all. It just kind of does not treat you the same. So you get used to a certain degree of respect and care, and then you get passed on to someone else who just who couldn't care less about you or what you're going through. So I think they balance. I think they do that really well. The feelings of depression and feeling lonely and just this like back and forth, pushed and pulled kind of thing. I really like that. Really done really well. That feeling of whiplash. There's a bigger story building up. It's a book I'll keep an eye out for. It seems like there's some much bigger ideas being teased that I think they do a good job at teasing those things, but I don't mind a slow burn. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I think there's some things that are being played with, that are being kind of teased, and there's a lot of potential here. So I'll keep my eyes out for it. It'll be a last moment thing if I pick up the third issue. I'm still not sure if it's for me, but so far the artwork is really good. Like I said, the story is fine. It's not bad. It's good. It's just I'm not sure it's for me. So it's one of those things. Now, the next one is Alien #1. This is by Declan Shalvey, Andrea Borcato, and Ruth Redmond. This is by Marvel Comics. So I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise, at least the first 3 movies. The assembly cut for the third movie, that's a whole other podcast. So I'm a big fan of the movies, whether I like them or not. The movies, I'm there to see all of them, and I'll watch them several times to try and pick out parts of the lore and find out things that I missed the first time. So I'm just a big fan of the series, of the franchise. So I keep going into these Alien comics, hoping that I'll love it or it'll add something to the lore somehow. But a lot like the movies, we start to see the same setup and the same the same beginning of the story. It seems like we're just going through the motions. There's like a certain path that we take every time there's an Alien book or Alien movie, that we just it's like the same thing over and over again. And yes, it's fine, but we need like a fresh take on this franchise. I think we need something different. And it's hard for me to get into these books sometimes because I know that they're not part of the lore. So they can do anything they want. And I know it shouldn't bother me, but sometimes it just doesn't. I think I'd be more interested in it if it was part of the lore, if it was part of it was official canon. So, yeah, but I'm trying to keep an open mind, but it just seems like we're rehashing the same setup and events with different characters. And I do wonder if a corporation like Weyland-Yutani really wanted the xenomorphs so bad, you think that they would change their strategy by now. A corporation that, for those of you who are familiar with the franchise, for Weyland-Yutani, who is this mega corporation, I think bigger than anything we can think of, they really want the xenomorphs, as we know. And you think by this time they would have a different approach to getting the xenomorphs after so many failed attempts. You think they would have someone in there, let's say, let's try something different. let's do it differently this time and see what happens. Because it just seems like the same thing over and over again. And they keep failing. And it's like, I might want to change the strategy, Wayland. I don't know. Maybe it's time to bring in some different executives or different, planners or something. Come up with a different strategy. So yeah, I'll give issue 2 a go. There's a cold weather element in this one. I really dig that. Kind of the cold weather, ice, snow. I think that's fun. It's fun to play with those ideas and what the aliens would look like, or kind of how they would change with that environment. So I really dig that. So I'll probably read issue 2 just because I'm a sucker. But it just, nothing new is happening. There's nothing new, nothing original. And sometimes that's okay, and sometimes it's not. But so far, it's okay. So the next book is Antarctica number 5. This is by Simon Burks, Willie Roberts, and Lyndon White. This is by Top Cow. Now, I have to laugh because it's funny that I complain about this book every time I read one. That it leaves out too much information. First I complain about books who give us too much information, who kind of hold our hands and tell us this is a flashback, this is that character when they were young. Kind of like, okay, I get it. You don't have to hold my hand. Trust your reader. I understand what's going on. And then I go into Antarctica, and I say, what is going on? I don't understand. What is happening here? So it's funny that we have that. I do anyway. I have I don't want to have my hand held because I can get it. And then a book like this is, what is going on? I need more information. There's that delicate balance there. So I have to laugh because I complain about both. And I'm a hypocrite. I admit it. So I find myself, what's funny about this book is that I sometimes get discouraged reading it. And I find myself not following what's going on, but I keep coming back to it. I would normally consider throwing in the towel on a series like this, but something tells me there will be a payoff at the end and things will come together. I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. I don't know why I keep coming back. And I'm not disappointed. I'm just lost. I'm just confused. Like, what is happening? Like, who are these people? Why do I care? Why don't I care about them? So it's one of those, but I don't know. Something about this series. I just have faith that things will come together. And I don't know why. I have no reason to think that. Zero reason to think that. I just think things will come together. Don't know why. So I'll keep reading it. And the art is spectacular in this series. I love the artwork. Maybe that's another reason I keep coming back, because if the art wasn't as good as it is, I may say, it's not very easy in the eyes. So that's another reason why I keep coming back. The artwork is just really, really good, really slick, really clean. And don't get me wrong, this series has shined in a few areas. I think issue 1 was a great first issue, and I think it set up some great characters. I really love the character setup they did. I really love the character work. And since then, there's been flashes of that, of the developing characters and building on things that were established in the first issue or introduced in the first issue. Just haven't gotten that punch yet. But there's little hints, little breadcrumbs, and I hope things will come together. I hope so. I'll keep reading it because I have faith. I don't know why. I don't know why. So the pick of the week for this week is one that this is a series that I started reading a few months back, and I wasn't sure really what to think of it. It was a little different. The artwork was a little. The artwork isn't normally something I would enjoy, but it's really grown on me. And the series I'm talking about is Crusader. This is Crusader issue 4. This is by Matt Emmons. This is published by Mad Cave. This series is really growing on me. We continue following the Crusader and his journey and what may or may not be happening to him and why. The story grows in scope every issue. Every issue there's new things introduced. There's new things that are being kind of thrown into the story. And I really like where it's going. They even have a funny moment or two, even if it is black humor. There is some some great humor in it that I feel kind of bad laughing at sometimes. So The artwork is really good. I think it fits the story really well. I think there's some, like I said, the characters that are being established. There's some religious ideas that are being played with. The Crusader is this just like he's like a bull. He just kind of has a one-track mind. This is what he does, and he doesn't question a whole lot. He's very determined. He is of the faith. He's dedicated to to doing what he does as a Crusader. You can imagine what that would be. And thrown into this world of this whole different world. It's great to see someone like that thrown into this unexpected world and, experiencing all these different things and different ideas and how to handle things, because you get used to handling things a certain way. And now all the tools you had to handle problems is gone, or at least you have to handle it different ways. So I really like that. Like I said, there's some other great characters being established. There's some other great things being introduced. Overall, I really enjoy this one. This is my favorite book of the week. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think it's doing some really great things. For a fantasy, like a dark fantasy story, it's hitting it's kind of, the way it's progressing is really, seems really deliberate, and it seems very natural, the natural progression, the best way I can describe it. So yeah, it is a book that I will be continuing to read. I wasn't sure, like I said, what to think of it at first, but it's really coming into its own. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. My favorite book of the week. And yeah, those are my picks this week. A pretty solid week. Nothing I really didn't like. I think there's some books that I wasn't crazy about, but everything was good. No complaints. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at picking books that will appeal to me. One of these weeks, I will just read everything I can get my hands on, and I'll come and rant and rave about it. It's going to be a long week, because there's a lot of books I know I won't like. A lot of superhero stuff I know I just won't like, just because I'm lost in a lot of it. I don't know what the hell's going on, or why things are happening, or who's fighting who, or who's what villain. And so that might be fun. Might be a fun experiment just to see what happens. But maybe it's, this time of year might be a good time with, kind of work and things are slowing down. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. One of these weeks I will do that. So I hope you're having a great week. Thank you so much for listening. I know there's only a few of you who listen, but I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for me, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And also, if you'd ever like to come on and be a co-host, let me know and we will set something up. The best place to find me is on pagechewing.com on our forums. It's a small but dedicated, tightly knit community there. Come by and say hello. We're a really great, everyone there is really great, really friendly, welcoming, and just come on and say hello and talk about comics or books or movies or music. We have meetups for lots of different things, lots of podcast meetups that anyone's invited to, lots of stuff going on all the time, lots of great people. So come by and say hello and join our little group. Be one of us. So anyway, I hope you're all having a great holiday. If you're into that sort of thing. If not, then hope you have a great weekend and hope you are enjoying whatever it is you're reading. If you are reading something and enjoying it, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. So until next week, we will talk to you soon.